Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.
Hello and welcome to Classic Restos. But before you watch any more, watch this.
It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. For oils, coolants, additives and technical assistance, Oil Right, use Penrite. And Hare and Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au.
And whilst I remain here in Nathalia in regional Victoria for last weekend's Show and Shine, I thought now that I would bring you some more. And from the Broken Creek that I've conveniently renamed the Nathalia River through to the interesting individuals. It's a reason that I love filming stories in these country towns. This bloke here, local to Nathalia. Now, Wayne, your name filtered through from another part of Victoria. Champion sign writer. I couldn't help but grab the opportunity to catch up with you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, Fletch. How are you?
Good, mate, good. Now, where does sign writing go back with you?
Oh, well, yeah, I've been doing it for a fair while now. Since about 15. I'm 54 now. Yep. So, I'm from the old school.
I hear you're very clever. Now, even here at your signwriting business in Nathalia, in your foyer, you've got pictures there of various companies that you've been creative with. That's awesome stuff.
Oh, well, thanks for that. Yeah, a bit of old school there. So I've come right through from the handwritten, hand-painted signage to vinyl and print now. Yep. So it's changed a lot in my lifetime. Yeah, so it's completely different to, how it used to be. But I don't know whether it's better or not. But, a bit of the old school stuff's coming back now.
And how's business in Nathalia?
Yeah, it's pretty good around the area. Yeah, it's not going too bad. It's a bit dry at the moment, so a few people are a bit worried.
You're a car guy as well, which makes it extra special. And behind us here, a Ford A 63. Now, you pull this out of a swamp? What's going on there?
No, I drove this back from Queensland, from Toowoomba, so that was a bit of an adventure. But, no, it's not too bad. I'm still stripping the paint down, as you can see.
The body looks pretty straight, Wayne.
It is good. Yeah, no, it's very good. I've played a lot of the rust up, so I've just got to get back into it. So it should come up all right.
Now, what's your plans for it, mate? What colour is it going to be? I don't want to disclose that yet.
It was black, so I think I'll stick with black at this stage. Yeah, so it'll be black, maybe two-tone.
It's funny, like no one is lining up in the United States of America to buy four-door cars, but I mean, it's like as though they're on the nose there a bit. Yeah. But, the thing is with a four-door, bit of a longer car, and you get a lot of car with a four-door, don't you?
You do. Yeah, no, we all the Aussies like the four-door stuff. Well, not everybody. Two doors look cool, but four-door's great for your mates and your family. Yep. Easy to get in and out. Yep. Yeah, and they're a lot more popular here, which is good for us. Yeah, but we love them anyway.
They're an awesome thing, the Chevys. They really are. They really are. There's a place in the hearts of many enthusiasts for a Chevy vehicle all day long. Now, speaking of which, you go back quite a way with your sign writing, associated with motor racing. Now, you've also got some tremendous accolades with Holden dealer team, Dick Johnson. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you did back in those times, back in the 1980s?
Oh, well, yeah, I worked for Peter Brock for HDT for a couple of years. I did the race cars from VH to VKs and a lot of work for Holden, a lot of work for Philip Morris, which was Marlboro. I was almost employed by them full-time one stage. I turned up one day when they went to Mobile and I saw a new car there and it was all done in vinyl. That's when the first computer cutters came out. So I'd never seen it before and I thought, well, I'm in a bit of trouble here. And back then, the cutters were as much as it would cost to buy a house. So, it was out of my league at the time, and then everything changed. I did the race truck, I think. We changed over to mobile, and that was about the last job I did there.
Describe what it was like the ambience, like the atmosphere, the level of excitement. Was the pressure on? Was it a lot of fun, or could it be quite serious at times?
Oh, it was a bit of everything. You've seen a lot of things going on there, and it was an exciting job. I went to Bathurst a couple of times with them and used to touch the race cars up before the race meeting or the track next day. And so I used to work all night. So I did a lot of night work there, same as the race cars. There was a lot of work overnight when they weren't working on the cars. So because everything was hand painted, paint would take 12 hours to go off. And I even come in one morning and they threw their overalls on the bonnet of the car when they were leaving, and I had to peel them off because it was stuck to the bonnet. So there was exciting times. They were all great blokes there, and Peter was a terrific person. What you see is what you get with him, and his family, his wife and everyone. So it was great.
What was it like working on Dick Johnson's Green's tough XE Falcon?
The only time I worked on that was when that big crash on the mountain there.
When he cleaned up the forest?
Yes. Yeah, they bought another car from the other team, and they resprayed it quickly, and about 2 other guys, signers from other teams, we all worked on it all night, or late in the night.
After he put it through the forest, what was the talk back around the pit area and around there? I mean, when you saw the car and the level of damage, it must have been horrific.
Oh, it was at the time, and he survived. And but everyone rallied together and they all got stuck into it. And it was amazing to see it come together because that was never really done before, I don't think.
It was an incredible car. The first car at Bathurst with 500 horsepower was quite a thing.
Yeah, no, the thing went pretty good.
I think too, when Dick went into the trees, it was Peter Brock that stopped and took him back to the pits.
It was, yeah. And Peter dobbed me in to go over and give him a hand. So we went over there, and a few of the other guys went out on the track when it was wet, and the commentator came up to the car and landed on it while it was still wet and got the paint on his hands. It was a good time, and we did the wing keel. That was when the America's Cup was on. Made the false wing keel for the back of Brock's car, and just on the start line. So it was all good fun.
It's quite surreal in here too when you walk around. I mean, hanging up the bonnet from a VH Commodore from Peter Brock's car. You've got it. It's right here.
Well, yeah, I have got it. Yes, it was in the big bin at the time. No one wanted those things back then. And I had a couple.
In the rubbish bin?
It was in the bin, yeah. And I asked Larry if I could take it, and he said, he asked me why I would want it, and I just wanted to hang it up in the workshop at home. Those things, no one wanted those things back then. So anyway, I've still got it at the moment, yes.
Well, I hope you're really enjoying this week's episode of Classic Restos here in Nathalia in central northern Victoria, Australia. Back with more right after this.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Penrite, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Hare and Forbes Machinery House have showrooms around Australia and New Zealand that will have you browsing for hours. See the largest range of industrial and workshop DIY tools. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au. Wayne, a 1929 A model. There's something about this satin black car. You put a lot of thought and creativity into the colour, I've got to say, Kingy.
The colour, yeah, not much. It's pretty black and black, yeah. Bit like the old The original Fords, yeah, they're all...
And you woke up one morning and thought, now what colour am I going to do this? I'll do black.
I did black to get it on the road. I was in a bit of a hurry.
Yeah.
So...
But it's not a matte black. It's a satin, right?
It's a satin, yeah. So it's not flat. It's not gloss. It's just a satin black. So it's just a cruiser. Yeah. We have a lot of fun in it, yeah.
It's kind of like a dark black, right?
A dark black, yeah. Black, yeah. That's right. No, so, yeah, everything's black. Yeah, with a few skulls and...
Everything's black. I mean, dashboard's black. Yeah. You know, it's a black.
No, she's just a basic cruiser. And, yeah, we have a lot of fun with it. It's got a Holden drivetrain in it. So it did my head in a bit because I'm a Holden man. Yeah. Dad have a Ford.
Yeah, so what were you thinking at the time?
Well, he didn't have a lot of choice as far as hot rods go. And I just liked the particular shape. But if you notice, there's no Ford badges on them. I've only got Forden on there.
So, Kingy, it must really make you feel good to know that there's Ford componentry here. You've got a 9-inch diff going on.
Yeah, a 9-inch diff with the original chassis. It's registered in 1929.
But you've got to admit, though, it's good having that Ford 9-inch diff, though, isn't it?
Well, that's the best part, yes. Yeah. The rest of it's real good because it's Holden.
Jeez. You fell out of the Holden tree and you hit every branch on the way down, Kingy, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I've copped a bit over it, but I'll get over it.
You will. Now, look, the interior's nice, mate. Nice stitched red leather there. That looks nice. Or is it a vinyl?
It's printed. Oh. It's a printed vinyl.
It's a printed vinyl?
Yeah, I just printed the door trims and they're just the signage board I use and the composite panel and... Yeah.
See, an incredibly talented man. He doesn't have to go and do the stitch leather. He can just draw the damn thing and suck everybody in.
Whatever I can design, I can print it. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it is awesome.
Yeah, all right. Now, engine up front, what is it? What have you done to it?
It's only, it's just mildly worked 253 with a 3-speed auto. Yeah. And it's only a tiny car, it's only a little go-kart, so it goes pretty good.
253, doing a nice job there, and I guess you got a trimatic transmission, right? Or
yes, I have.
Traumatic.
Tragic. Yeah.
Yeah, now, Wayne, it's Holden.
No. Yeah, no, it's good gearbox. Yeah. Thank you.
What I do like about this thing, it's just low, it's the right ride height, it's the right colour, it's themed well, a ton of fun as well, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a good cruiser. I can get in with my grandkids and we just cruise around. They love it. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it gets a little bit knocked around, as you can see. But we have a ton of fun in it. Yeah, it's good.
I can imagine with you. I mean, if it gets a scratch or something on it, I don't know. You'd do some sort of physics out the back with a tin and mix something up and put some sort of.
When the grandkids get bigger, I'll paint it again. So one day, yeah.
Put some sort of signage over it.
Signage, dolls or whatever. Yeah.
Now, on last week's TV episode of Classic Restos, I had the privilege of travelling to Nathalia in central northern Victoria for their show and shine, and the privilege of catching up with you, Wayne. I want to thank you for your time today here at King Signs. You do an awesome job, awesome work, and it's great to hear your history, especially when you went back to the racing accolades of the 1980s for some of the greats.
Thanks for that, Fletch. We really appreciate you coming up here last weekend with the Classic Restos show, and it's been a great weekend, and hopefully you can come back next year.
Good on you, mate. Hopefully all going well. Thanks, Wayne.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Fletch.
No worries, mate.
One thing I love doing when I film around a place is filming all the crap that's got nothing to do with the show. You've got some stuff around here, Wayne.
Yeah, I have got a bit of stuff, yes. And why are you filming it?
Well, it's interesting.
No, not really.
Everybody that watches the show wants to see the stuff you've got.
No, those crap that I've got, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that, Fletch.
And the toilet out back?
No.
Wow, that's really something.
No, you're not going to show that, are you?
You need to clean that.
Oh, thank you. You haven't been in there.
I don't want to go in there. It's got its own weather system.
It's got its own pulse.
You go in there, you walk out a different colour.
Yeah, all right. Okay. I'll leave it at that. Don't show it though, please.
And just a couple of kilometres down the road from Kingy, we've got this guy here, Rodger. How you doing, Rog?
I'm well, Fletch. How are you?
Good. Thanks for bringing a couple of cars out of the garage. Love your place here. Look how leafy it is. You've got a gorgeous period home there from goodness knows when. How old's the place?
Built in 1888 it was.
How awesome's that? A house from 1988. Wow, you know, you could get a late model joint maybe in the 1920s. You wouldn't know yourself.
That's right. Well, I'm not really that willing to upgrade. I like the old stuff, mate.
History of that house. What can you tell us about that?
It was the old Church of England rectory built for the Reverend George Gladstone, and he was here for a number of years, and it was superseded by the other rectory just diagonally over the road. And I bought it about 13 years ago. Been doing it up ever since.
Well, there's nothing like being busy pulling balls down at the rectory.
If you reckon, Fletch.
Okay, which takes us on to one of your cars. Now, I'd like to start with your 1962 XL Falcon. What can you tell us about this car?
Well, I was fortunate enough to come across the old XL in about 1998, I think it was. I was up on a roof putting a flue on with an old fella, a plumber, Brian Watson, over in America, and we're just finishing up the job, and I looked across and saw this old thing sitting out in the paddock there, and I jumped the gate and ignored the trespassers prosecuted sign and went in and had a bit of a look, and a fella came out and asked what I was doing and said I was interested in the car, and we had a brief discussion, and I gave him $400 and went back the next weekend and picked it up. So basically it looks pretty much as found, except a bit shinier than when I got it. I've done the motor and most of the mechanicals, the front end and the brakes and everything have been restored. I was going to do a full resto on it, but fortunately I wasn't motivated enough to get it done soon enough, and had time to reevaluate, and I've left as much as I can original. The seats had some old bed sheets on them, which protected the interior to a large degree. Fairly unusual to find something that's still as intact as that one. So yeah, I've had it going for a little while now. It's good fun.
You've saved his life, Rodger.
Oh, I'd like to think so, Fletch. Yeah.
I mean, you know, the days are diminishing of finding a classic car out in a paddock. It's kind of like the dream. It's the dream story of, you know, working somewhere and, there's a car out there in the field. Pay $400 and you get it. Certainly a good score. Now, rust in the back doors, really the only problem area that I can see with the car overall.
Yeah, look, otherwise the body's really solid. There's a bit of rust in both back doors and the back of the sills, but apart from that, it's really clean and basically fairly straight. From what I can judge, the car originally came from Broken Hill. There's an old sticker faded in the back window, and it was originally New South Wales registered. There was an old Rego label. It's still in the window, and the sills and the back doors are full of red dust, so I'm guessing it came out of the centre there somewhere. Yeah. Obviously had a fairly dry life out in the middle of Australia somewhere, and it's found its way back to Nathalia.
I think the car's incredible when you look at it. I mean, it's so straight, and to think that it was sitting in a field for so long, and you've cleaned it up. I mean, you look at the around the grill area, around the bumper bars, even the stainless steel, all the bright work. I mean, what an amazing find.
It's pretty much come to pieces and gone back together again, Fletch. Like I say, I was going to do a full resto on it, so there's been a few bits and pieces replaced, but as much as I can, it's kept it original.
The interior as well. I mean, sitting out in the weather for all those years too. I mean, you'd expect that to be like all tattered and torn from the sun. Even that's in pretty good nick.
Well, it's got its fair share of patina, but it's still functional. So, if it ain't too broke, I don't fix it, and I prefer to sit on the original seat than some shiny new one.
This old girl here might be a proud Aussie, but if you love your classic Americana, you'll love this.
There is nothing quite like a Fletch tour. Carlisle or Ford Nationals, GM Nationals and Chrysler Nationals await you.
Coming on the Fletch tour was really great.
The people that run the tour are fantastic.
Experience Route 66 from Chicago to Vegas, or choose the Detroit tour, attending the Woodward Dream Cruise.
If you're going to travel anywhere, you've got to do a Fletch tour.
On a Fletch tour, you're looked after every step of the way.
See FletchTours.com or contact All Things Travel, Lara.
In 1926, Australia's Penrite Oil Company was established. Almost 90 years of research, development and refining under the harsh Australian conditions has made Penrite Oil what it is today. Precision, performance, reliability and protection. Championship winning products. Trust Penrite.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare & Forbes has the range. And Hare & Forbes Machinery House are Australian owned, established since 1930. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare & Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannon's laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannon's understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
All right, we move from one side of the backyard to the other. We've got a 1957 FE Holden. Where'd you find this from, Rodger?
Well, my dad actually found this one over at Euroa. A friend of his had some friends over there, and unfortunately the old fella had died, and he was the only one that could drive. So the lady was looking to sell the old car, and we found out about it. So we went over there and had a look, and I think Dad paid about $1,500 for it, which seemed like a lot at the time. I was still at school, so that's going back a fair few years. Yeah. And we drove it home. And it poured rain halfway home, and had to rely on the old vacuum wipers to try and find our way back. And
aren't they good? I mean, at the traffic lights they're flat out, and when you're driving along they slow down to nothing.
Yeah, look, it was one of the few exceptions we made, and we did upgrade that with some electric wipers. And otherwise, it's basically original. They got onto a new old stock engine Rico kit, and did some rubbers, and me and Dad painted it, and otherwise minor upholstery repairs, and it's pretty much as we found it, otherwise completely original.
Such a simplistic era here for Holden back in the late 50s, and the amount of chrome around the front, they might have given it the small six-cylinder engine, and that's the only choice of engines that you had in the day, but they certainly didn't skimp out when it came to the quality of the body and that shiny stuff.
Yeah, look, they look awesome. They still hold appeal today, and they always will. Nothing beats the old Holdens for a bit of working class appeal, and they're an awesome looking car.
They were a well built car. I mean, at the end of the day too. I mean, they were the poor man's Chev, weren't they?
Yeah, well, that's right. They borrowed a lot of stylings from the Chevs all through the FE, FC, EK, FB range, and they certainly drew their inspiration from those, and all power to them, I suppose. They look all the better for it.
The two-tone paint is always nice too. Obviously, a white turret just splits the whole car, just nice.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, some of the FE and FC specials and that, they had the two-tone splits on the body lines, and that were even more appealing. But no, we love the old girl, and she gets used regularly. Get the kids' seats in the back and pick the kids up from school and take little trips around every now and then and go to car shows. It's great.
I mean, these were such symbolic cars to the evolvement of motoring history in Australia, weren't they? I mean, they were the sales rep's car. If the sales rep in the time was fortunate enough to be given a Holden like that to drive around in, it was the family car if they were lucky enough. I mean, to have a new Holden back in 1957, an extremely proud moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they were quite a turning point in styling from the FJs, and of course Holden had already made its mark in Australia after the FX and FJ models, and the FE was the next generation. So no, we love it.
What have you done to the interior, Rodger? Because to me it looks like just same as 1957. Nothing's been done.
Yeah, look, we put carpet in it only because the old rubber was worn through, and it had a piece across the back seat. I put some red seat belts in it to match the interior. Otherwise, everything's original, door trims and everything, and all the parts of the seats and everything are as per factory. The
faded red and white vinyl, a dead giveaway that it's original, and it just looks so good. It's at the point where you probably wouldn't want to change that.
No, wouldn't change a thing. As long as it keeps going, I won't do anything more than maintain it.
Look, as long as you haven't got a split in the vinyl and you've got a spring poking you in the bum making life uncomfortable, just leave it alone.
Yep, that's right. And I think these old girls, they're best left to show a bit of character and let their age shine through. I think the only time you really want to over-restore a car is if it needs complete restoration. If it's got some original features that are still intact, I'm all for keeping them.
Good on you, Rodger. I think you're doing well with the cars that you've got, mate. Thank you so much for inviting Fletch here to your yard here in a very quiet side street of Nathalia. I tell you what, you could live in a noisier joint.
We love it here. It's a great little town. And thanks for coming, Fletch.
That's all right. You're welcome, Rodger. Thanks, mate.
Love the show.
Well, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Classic Restos. Two unique individuals here in regional Victoria. And when you get a moment, why not do yourself a favour, get in the car and take a drive to Nathalia. As I say at the end of every show, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.
Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.